Hello, my name is Richard and welcome to part 2 of Simple Greek with the Chinaman. Today we will be learning how to introduce yourself to others. We will be building off from the previous lesson, so if you have not seen that yet, please watch that first. And without further ado, Yasu. Yasu. Με λένε Γιώργο. Πώς σε λένε? Με λένε Κώστα. Χάρηκα Κώστα. Και εγώ χάρηκα Γιώργο. Τι κάνεις? Υπέροχα. Και εσύ? Καλά είσαι? Ναι, είμαι πολύ καλά. Γεια σου Γιώργο. Γεια σου Κώστα. Alright, let's go through the conversation piece by piece. So the first part is quite simple. The two speakers simply greet each other with Yasu. We have learned this from the previous lesson and it means hello, Yasu. And then the first speaker introduces himself by saying Με λένε Γιώργο. My name is George. He then proceeds to ask Πώς σε λένε? What's your name? Πώς σε λένε? Πώς σε λένε? This literally means how are you cold? So πώς equals how, σε λένε equals you are cold. So πώς σε λένε, how are you cold? So με λένε literally means I am cold. But in English we would translate this to your name is and my name is. The second speaker then introduces himself by saying Με λένε Κώστα. My name is Costa. George then says Χάρηκα Κώστα. Nice to meet you Costa. Χάρηκα. Χαρικά. Χαρικά. This literally means I'm happy. So you can think of it like I'm happy to have met you. Χαρικά. Costa replies και εγώ χαρήκα Γιώργο. Do you remember εγώ? We used it in the first lesson to be more emphatic when we speak in the first person. For example, εγώ πολύ καλά. I'm very well. But it actually just means I or me. We can remember this with the English word ego, the word that means me, me. Εγώ, εγώ, εγώ. Also in the previous lesson, we used the phrase και εσύ and you. Here we use the phrase και εγώ. And if you thought that it means and me, you're correct. But και εσύ and και εγώ carry these aforementioned meanings only when used as a question. But in this context, which is not a question, it is used as I too, me too, or I'm also, sort of in that sense. So let's look at the sentence again. Και εγώ χάρηκα Γιώργο. Nice to meet you too, George. Or in a very loose, literal sense, I too am glad to have met you, George. Και εγώ χάρηκα Γιώργο. Και εγώ χάρηκα Γιώργο. The next part. Τι κάνεις? How are you? Costa replies, υπέροχα. Wonderful. Υπέροχα. Υπέροχα. Και εσύ? And you? Καλά είσαι. Είσαι means you are, or when used as a question, are you? Είσαι. Είσαι. Καλά είσαι. Are you well? Καλά είσαι. So one thing we have to understand is that Greek is a very flexible language. So we can actually say είσαι καλά. Είσαι καλά. And we would still be grammatically correct. But for right now, let's just stick with καλά είσαι. George replies, ναι, είμαι πολύ καλά. Ναι means yes. Ναι. Ναι. Είμαι means I am or am I? Είμαι. Είμαι. Είμαι πολύ καλά. Είμαι πολύ καλά. Ναι. Είμαι πολύ καλά. And yes, you are also correct if you say ναι. Πολύ καλά είμαι. George and Costa then bid each other farewell with Yasu. Yasu. Now that we have learned all of the phrases, let's watch the dialogue again, but this time you will be able to understand everything that is said. Yasu. Yasu. Με λένε Γιώργο. Πώς σε λένε? Με λένε Κώστα. Χάρηκα Κώστα. Και εγώ χάρηκα Γιώργο. Τι κάνεις? Υπέροχα. Και εσύ? Καλά είσαι? Ναι, είμαι πολύ καλά. Γεια σου Γιώργο. Γεια σου Κώστα. Did you catch everything? If not, feel free to watch over the video again. Also, do not worry about literal translations too much. Focus on the translations that make sense for us English speakers. I am simply letting you know the literal translation so you have the tools to understand and use these words in the future. Okay, that's all for this lesson. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments below and I will try to answer them. Yeah.